Hello everyone, welcome to this lab session. Today in our digital communications lab, we'll discuss about frequency shift keying lab experiment, that is experiment number 7. So in this, first we'll discuss what is frequency shift keying, the concept and theoretical analysis and waveforms, and then we'll move on to the experimental analysis. Now keying. Communication system, there are amplitude shift keying, phase shift keying, and frequency shift keying. Amplitude shift keying and phase shift keying we have already discussed. Now we'll see what is frequency shift keying. So I will tell in a very simple way, then we'll move on to the experimental analysis. So here the input to any digital modulation technique is a digital data. Either it may be binary 0 or binary 1. Okay. If the input is binary 0 or binary 1, depending on the type of data input which is given to the modulation, the output of the modulation will be changed. If it is ASK, the amplitude of the carrier is going to be changed according to input 1 and 0. And if it is PSK, the phase of the carrier is going to be changed with respect to binary 1 and 0. But here it is a frequency shift keying. So if it is frequency shift keying means the frequency of the carrier is going to be changed with respect to the input binary 1 and binary 0. So how many frequencies it changes? Since it is a binary modulation technique, it is a very simple modulation technique. So the input is either 1 or 0. So there will be only 2 frequency changes or 2 frequency variation. That means if the input is binary 1, so the output of the modulation will have the carrier frequency with F1. Similarly, if the input is binary 0, so it will produce the carrier with a different frequency, that is F2. So here generally F1 is greater than F2. That means in 1 bit duration it will produce high frequency carrier, and during another bit, if this is the input data like ones and zeros like this, and this is the general carrier signal as a sine wave, something like this, and if the input is binary 1, so during this period it will produce this carrier with high frequency. That means high frequency means the number of cycles are going to be high when compared to the original carrier signal, like this. Similarly, whenever the input is binary 0, so during this period it will produce the carrier with low frequency, that is F2. So that means the number of cycles are less when compared to the F1. Similarly, whenever the binary 1 is coming again, so it will produce again the carrier with frequency, high frequency F1. So we will observe more number of cycles again. Right, this one. So this is what FSK signal. This is what FSK signal. So what you observe from this is, so in the FSK signal, the output modulated signal is having a carrier signal but with different frequencies, changing from F1 whenever the input is binary 1, and F2 when the input is binary 0, and again F1 if the input is binary 1. Okay. So depending on the type of input we are giving, and depending on the bit sequence, these carrier frequencies are going to be changed. And also keep in mind every mentioning parameters. But here, for example, here, if if you observe FSK output, only frequency is changing. No amplitude changes or no phase changes. Only the frequency of the carrier is going to be changed from F1 and F2, or changed between F1 and F2. F1 is high frequency, F2 is low frequency. And generally F1, that is high frequency FSK signal, is called as mark frequency. So generally it is called as mark frequency or simply high frequency. And other frequency, that is F2, is called as generally space frequency. Okay, in technical terms, generally they are speaking about F1 and F2 are high frequency and low frequency, are also mark and space frequency. So have to remember that whenever there is a terms like mark and space frequency in FSK concept, so think that F1 mark frequency is F1, space frequency is F2. Okay, so this is what the FSK signal. Now we are going to observe the practical implementation of this FSK modulation. How do you obtain this FSK output? By giving the input of some binary sequence of bits. Okay, now let us see. So here in our laboratory we have a different types of hardware kits are available. So we can use any one of them in order to produce the FSK output. For example, here I have mentioned 3 images of hardware kits. This is one type of hardware kit image from IQ company, and this is another image which is a general hardware kit we use for generating different types of modulation experiments. For example, the same kit can be used for ASK, PSK, DPSK, FSK also. So if you want to use this, then select the modulation technique to this block and perform the FSK experiment. Okay, and also we have other kit from Feature Tech company. So here also we can perform the frequency shift keying experiment, both modulation as well as demodulation. Here we have a modulator and here we have a demodulator, and this block is only to generate the input digital data. From these outputs we can able to generate some input bit sequence. If one of these pins to be different outputs from this block. So we can take any one of this and connect here and observe modulated output and then demodulation and so on. Okay, so out of these 3, as an example, I have considered this particular hardware kit because in this we have some more inputs, as line coding techniques are also available here. So if you can do this experiment, you can also observe what are the different types of line coding techniques available here, right? So I'm going to explain this particular hardware kit and analysis. So if you want to perform the experiment, first we should know the procedure. For every modulation technique there is a very simple procedure. What is the procedure? First we need to observe what is the clock signal. For every digital hardware kit there is a clock, so we need to observe what is the clock. So from this, if you connect this to CRO probe, you can observe what is the clock signal which is generating and observe what is the frequency and time period of the clock. And then the second step is you need to observe what is the data input you need to give to the modulator. So here there are different options are there, 6 options are there. All these 6 options are nothing but different line coding techniques. Here what is the meaning of line coding technique? So line coding technique means representation of input binary ones and zeros in an electrical form having high and low pulses. So different line coding format will represent each 1 and 0 in a different way. For example, if this is NRZ, that is non-return to 0 coding. So in this coding, each binary 1 during this 1 clock time period represented with low pulse means that is a negative pulse. You can consider it as a negative pulse. Okay. So non-return to 0 means non-return to 0. Return to 0 means it will settle to 0. Non-return to 0 means it will not settle to 0. That means it fluctuates from positive pulse to negative pulse. That is the meaning of non-return to 0. Whenever there is a term return to 0 means, so here the binary 1 is represented with high pulse and then return to 0. That means in the middle of the clock time period, this high pulse is going to be returned to 0. Okay, but here it will not return to 0 until the complete clock time period. For example, this 1 is appearing during this clock time period. This is only example. Here I am taking 0 1 1 0 as an example. So how this input data in terms of ones and zeros is represented in a clock pulses, is represented in a electrical pulses by using different line coding technique. For example, how 0110 is represented with NRZ coding. That means, so each 0 is represented with low pulse, each 1 is represented with high pulse. So again 1 high pulse, again 0, so 0 pulse, low pulse. Similarly, return to 0 means each 0 is represented with 0 as it is to NRZ, and each 1 is represented with half positive pulse followed by 0. That means in the middle it will return to 0. So again 1 means, so again half positive pulse and then return to 0. So 0 means 0. So like that we have different line coding techniques. You can clearly observe each line coding technique by observing the input data format from this example. Okay. So as an experimental purpose, you should perform the FSK experiment by using at least two different line coding formats, and if time permits you can do all the things. So as an example, I am taking this as the input to the modulator, and how to observe from this pulse, how to observe the input bit sequence from this pulse. For example, if you observe this pin to the CRO and the CRO probe by using CRO probe, then you observe that there is some electrical pulse. So how to note down the bit sequence, corresponding bits, how to know that this is 0110 or something else. So how to observe that means you need to compare this pulse, you need to compare this clock pulse, you need to compare this input pulse with respect to the clock. So whenever there is a high pulse during one clock time period, you note that this is 1, otherwise it is 0. So then after observing the input bit sequence from any one of this line coding technique, then connect to this input to the modulation as a serial input, and then here as a FSK modulation we are using some particular IC, that is XR2206. It is one kind of IC. So total thing is designed by using an IC circuit, right? So here the output of FSK is simply obtained at this particular pin. Whenever the input is 1, from this bit sequence, automatically the FSK will produce the carrier signal with frequency F1, that is high frequency or mark frequency. Whenever the input is 0, automatically it will produce the carrier frequency with F2, that is a low frequency. But here the question is, where is the carrier? Here there is no carrier signal mentioned, but in the frequency modulation or FSK kits, the default output of the modulation without connecting any input. For example, if you don't connect any input here, then the default output of the modulation is nothing but the carrier signal. So if you want to observe actual carrier without connecting anything, so if you observe this pin to the CRO, then this is nothing but the carrier signal. So then note down the original carrier signal and frequency. Then after connecting to the input to this modulation, then observe the FSK output and note down the what is the corresponding mark frequency and space frequency. Okay, that is the modulation process simply. And the demodulation process is connect the modulator output to the demodulation here. So in the demodulation process, we are using a PLL based circuit. So by using square wave generator and PLL detector and phase adjustment circuit, so it is possible to convert this frequency shifted waveform into original binary output, that is ones and zeros as this electrical pulse. Okay, so here this is a detection process. because we are not using any coherent carrier in this. So that's why generally FSK demodulators are mainly preferred for non-coherent detection process. That means whenever if you observe FSK, generally they use non-coherent. But if not possible, only they go for coherent detection. But perfect demodulation is only observed for non-coherent detection only. That's why in this kit also non-coherent detection is used. Okay. So now we'll observe the experimental analysis directly. And of course, we have a pin here, that is a reset pin. If you want to reset this input, so you can connect to reset, then it will be reset to original bit sequence. If there is any deviations, we can able to reset this. Or otherwise, by default, we can make this into off state. Now, for example, if you want to do an experiment from this kit, so it is very simple. So directly the block is given here. There is no connections required. Directly you can observe the outputs only. So here already F1 and F2, which is connected to this multiplier, and this is the input digital data coming. So directly you can observe FSK output here and demodulation here. There is nothing connections here. Directly you can observe. And here also, these are the different types of inputs they are generating from this data generator, right? For example, if you connect any one of these to here, so that particular data is going to be generated as a ones and zeros pulses here. So this is the final digital data or digital input data, and here there is a clock input. So you can connect any one of the clock and generate data and connect the data to here, and so the observe carrier without input you can observe the carrier here and connect the FSK output to the demodulation, and you can clearly observe the demodulated output here. And in this kit, the specialty special feature of this particular Future Tech kit is there are two tuning knobs provided in the demodulation. So if you observe the frequency modulation experiment in the analog communication lab, in that also there is a tuning. That means, well, whenever we are receiving FM signal, suddenly you observe there is some random noise. So in order to get the original carrier frequency signal, you need to tune your radio. So similarly here, if the demodulation is not perfect, then you can tune these knobs so that you can able to generate perfect demodulated digital sequence, right? These are the different kits, and this is what the procedure which is already explained. So here I am directly going to the experimental video. So all of you observe this, what I am explained and what I am doing now. All of you keep in mind that for all this digital communication lab, here I am using the experimental video, and I am going to explain in a play and pause mode. That means the video I am going to pause and I am explaining, and then I am going to play the video. So I am going to explain. So all of you keep in mind that. So now I have paused this. So these are the data clock, and this is what different line coding techniques available. So first step is observe the clock signal here. Switch on this kit. Connect some ground pin, and this is what the clock signal. Okay. So connect the CRO probe to this particular clock signal and observe in the CRO. This is what the clock signal. Okay. All of you carefully observe this. This is the, if you want to observe what is the time period of the clock, this is the complete time period of the clock, both high along with low. Okay. So if you want to observe what is the input data, you need to compare with this clock time periods. Clear? Now let us take an example as an NRZ coding. You can take any one of these line coding techniques. As an example, here I am taking this as the input. So connect this to the CRO probe and observe there is some clock, there is some pulse waveform which is generating, having high pulses and low pulses. Okay. Now it's time to observe what is the bit sequence. How many ones are there here and how many zeros are there. So let us observe. So in order to observe that, you definitely need to compare this input data clock, input data pulse with clock signal. So now let us compare. So make this CRO probe in dual mode. So before observing that, let us try to observe other line coding techniques also. So what will be the data input from this line coding technique, other line coding techniques? For example, if NRZ coding is used, RZ coding is used. So this is what the change. That means the representation, the pulse waveform of all these inputs are different. You look like different waveform, having different pulses, but the overall input is same. The overall input is same. For example, if the input is 0, 1, 1, 0, so that 0, 1, 1, 0 is applied here. From this also same 0, 1, 1, 0 is applied. From this also same 0, 1, 1, 0 is applied. But the way the binary sequence is represented is different from different line coding techniques. So all of you keep in mind that. Now let us compare the input with the clock. Make the CRO probe in dual mode. So in dual mode, connect two CRO probes to two inputs. Now let us observe the two waveforms here. All of you observe that this is clock and this is input data. So for every clock time period, you need to observe whether it is a high pulse or low pulse. For example, I am starting from here. Okay, so this is what one clock time period. So during this one clock time period, high pulse is observed. So you can consider that as 1. If low pulse is observed, we can consider it as a 0. So for one clock time period, high pulse. Again during another clock time period also high pulse. So 1, 1. So during the next two clock pulses, low pulse is observed. So 1, 1, 0, 0. Again 1, 1, 0, 0. So that kind of bit sequence is generated. So simply 1, 1, 0, 0 is generating from the input. That is what we need to observe. Clear? That was repeating like this. Okay, same thing is repeated. So you can note down this 1100 as the general input. Clear? Now connect that input to the input of the modulation as a serial data input. So before that, here I am observing the default output of the modulation without connecting any input. Without connecting any, here I don't connect any input. So here I am observing the FSK output. So that default output is nothing but carrier signal. Now let us see in the CRO. So this is what the carrier signal. Now I am connecting the input to the modulation. Now I am going to observe what is the FSK output. So connecting the input, and now I am observing the FSK output. Now let us clearly observe the frequency variations in the CRO. Now, so this is high frequency carrier and this is low frequency carrier, again high frequency carrier, and so on. So that means it is generating high frequency carrier as F1 during binary 1 period, and it is generating low frequency carrier as F2 during binary 0 period. So and it keeps on repeating. Okay, from this waveform, from the FS output, you need to calculate what is F1 and F2 frequencies. That means from the CRO screen, note down the time period during this high frequency region. So 1 by time period will give you the frequency, that is F1, that is mark frequency. Similarly, during this low frequency period, calculate the time period. 1 by time period will give you the frequency. So that frequency is equal to F2, that is phase frequency. So you need to calculate that, right? If you want to compare with the input, so connect another input and output. Both input and output can be connected in dual mode in the CRO, right? So here I am connected dual mode. So you can clearly observe compared to the input. So whenever the input is high, that is binary 1, so you will observe the high frequency carrier, otherwise frequency carrier. Now connecting the modulator output to the demodulation input. Now I am directly observing the demodulated output as a serial data. So here one thing you need to remember is the demodulated output sequence, that bit sequence must be same as the input sequence what we have applied already. Okay. Now I am observing the demodulated output here. This is what demodulated output, and again I am comparing with the input directly by placing in the dual mode. So both the input and demodulated outputs are exactly same. So that means same bit sequence is demodulating at the output. Okay. So these are what the observations we need to calculate. So we need to observe what is the clock signal, clock frequency, what is the input data sequence, either 110, 1100 or something else. We need to observe. So what is the mark frequency, what is space, so you can also note down that, and the corresponding demodulated data sequence. So this demodulated data sequence must be same as the input data sequence, right? So this is what the observations we need to take after completion of the experiment. Okay. So that's it for the lab experiment. So thank you very much. We'll meet you in the next video for another digital communication lab experiment. Thank you.